Since the start of the year, smart contract cryptocurrencies have seen an incredible increase in users, decentralized applications, and total value locked. Most of them owe this to Ethereum's impossibly high gas fees, which cause hundreds of thousands of users to spill onto other smart contract cryptocurrency blockchains. Instead of using this momentum to kill Ethereum, most of these alternative cryptocurrencies have opted to act as complementary additions to Ethereum's massive ecosystem. One of these cryptocurrencies is Harmony, and its cooperative approach has resulted in an exponential amount of user adoption and development in just a few short months. This has made Harmony one of the most successful Ethereum alternatives to date. Today, I'm going to give you a quick recap of Harmony and how it works. I'll examine a few of its most significant milestones over the last few months, analyze the OneCoin, and see just how much potential this crypto still has. I know you're eager to start, but there's a disclaimer I need to impart. If you think anything in this video is financial or investment advice, I'm afraid you're mistaken. The content here is just for your entertainment and education. Give your financial advisor a dial if you're looking to increase your cash pile. If you have no memory of this place, my name is Guy and crypto rules this space. The Coin Bureau is home to the highest quality crypto content you can find. Coins, tokens, news, reviews, I cover whatever comes to mind. I'm not a fan of moonboys and hype. I stick to the facts and do my best to get it right. So if this is something you can get behind, subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell to make sure my next video reaches your site. I've left a few timestamps in the video timeline that you can use to skip around if you're stretched for time. I'd appreciate it if you watched until the end, because these videos are how I get fed. Now that you're up to speed, let's get on with Harmony. Harmony was founded in 2018 by Stephen Say. Stephen holds a doctorate degree in cryptography and worked as a software engineer at Apple, Microsoft, and Google before founding Harmony. Like other smart contract cryptocurrencies, Harmony aims to be scalable, decentralized, and secure. Unlike other smart contract cryptocurrencies, Harmony also seeks to address privacy, which Stephen refers to as the, quote, fourth trilemma. Although Harmony was inspired by other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum, its blockchain was built from the ground up and is not a fork or carbon copy of another cryptocurrency. Harmony's mainnet launched in June 2019, but it wasn't until May 2020 that Harmony allowed its users to run validator nodes. This began its blockchain's decentralization, which is still in progress. In terms of how Harmony works, it's not all that far off from how Ethereum 2.0 is going to work. In fact, you could say that Harmony is essentially a finished version of Ethereum's next iteration. This is primarily because Harmony uses sharding, which involves splitting a single blockchain into multiple parts called shards. Harmony currently has 4 shards, and each shard can process 500 transactions per second, which totals 2,000 TPS. Harmony's total transactions per second will increase as more shards are added. Now, what's crazy is that transactions within Harmony's shards are about as fast as transactions made between shards, achieving finality in less than 2 seconds. This quick cross-chain communication is something that other smart contract blockchains are currently struggling with, namely Polkadot and Kusama with their parachains. To secure its 4 shards, Harmony uses a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism called effective proof-of-stake, or EPOS. This involves randomly assigning validators to one of the 4 shards and reducing their staking rewards if their stakes get too large. This is to ensure that no single validator grows large enough to corrupt a shard. Harmony also uses slashing to keep validators in check, but only if they step out of line. Harmony doesn't slash validators for downtime like most other proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies. And Harmony has pretty low barriers to entry for staking, with 10,001 being the minimum stake for validators and 1,001 being the minimum stake for delegators. Annual returns are currently 10%. In addition to the OneCoin, there are thousands of fungible and non-fungible tokens on the Harmony blockchain. One is used to pay for transaction fees on Harmony, and these transaction fees are usually less than 1,000th of a cent. Any one used to pay for transaction fees is also burned. More on that later. The Harmony blockchain currently hosts around 40 decentralized applications, and the Harmony One Wallet browser extension is used to interact with them. It's also used to delegate one to validators. Now, most of Harmony's dApps and tokens have been added in the short months since I last covered the project, and you can see what I was saying about it back then by clicking the link up there in the top right. To give you an idea of how much Harmony has grown over the last 2 months, consider the following metrics. Back in March, the Harmony blockchain had just 50 HRC20 tokens. Today, there are nearly 3,700 HRC20 tokens, and the most held of these tokens belong to Harmony's own ecosystem. In other words, they're not just wrapped assets or stablecoins bridged over from other cryptocurrency blockchains, as is often the case with Ethereum alternatives. Another impressive adoption metric is the number of Harmony One Wallet browser extension downloads, which has grown nearly tenfold since March. In a recent presentation, Harmony founder Stephen Say also revealed that there were about 80,000 active users across all browser wallet extensions. Most of them are probably using MetaMask, since MetaMask can be configured to support the Harmony blockchain as well. I'll leave the instructions in the video description if you need them. Harmony seems to owe its uptick in activity to its integration with other smart contract blockchains via the Horizon Bridge, which became compatible with the Binance Smart Chain in late March. Now, interestingly, most of the HRC20 tokens you find on Harmony are assets native to the Binance Smart Chain. This is no coincidence, given that the one token was sold via the Binance Launchpad, which means that Binance likely also has a stake in the project. In April, Harmony announced that it had partnered with the popular SushiSwap DEX, which launched natively on the Harmony blockchain. In June, this partnership became a marriage, with SushiSwap announcing it would be deploying additional DEX features to Harmony, along with $4 million in liquidity mining rewards for early adopters. More recently, Harmony entered a, quote, tight full-stack partnership with Terra. This will make it possible to use Terra's UST stablecoin on the Harmony blockchain, and will even see Terra's popular Anchor savings protocol deploy natively on Harmony. Most importantly, Terra's investment arm will provide grants and security audits for any dApps building on Harmony which leverage the UST stablecoin. Although Harmony has added dozens of other DeFi protocols, most of these seem to be cookie-cutter crypto dexes similar to SushiSwap. Harmony's real innovation is coming from its NFT ecosystem, which centers around the daVinci NFT marketplace that launched in early April. Harmony has seen about $500,000 in NFT sales since that time, though I suspect most of that came from another NFT platform Harmony released in May. Crazy.one is Harmony's, quote, subdomain NFT website. .one subdomains are similar to the .crypto domains you find on Ethereum. They have human-readable names that can double as wallet addresses. They're built on the blockchain and they cannot be censored. The differences are that subdomains on Harmony can only be rented for 1 year at a time, and subdomains can also be connected to your Twitter account if you so choose. By this, I mean that your subdomain can be configured to show your live Twitter feed, which is pretty neat to say the least. Additional features and functionalities will be added in the future. The Crazy.one website is used to pay for Harmony subdomains with OneCoins, and in this sense, it plays the role of a blockchain domain provider such as Unstoppable Domains. The difference here is that all the OneCoins used to pay for subdomains go towards a decentralized treasury, which is governed by the Harmony community and not into the coffers of a centralized company. Now, you can learn more about blockchain domains by watching my video about them. It's up there in the top right if you're interested. Governance has been the focal point of Harmony's recent development, with the first major milestone taking place in March. This is when Harmony released its all-in-one governance dashboard. I say all-in-one because Harmony's governance dashboard includes not just decisions about its core operations, but any DAOs belonging to the dApps on its blockchain. Interestingly, only validators can table and vote on proposals. This is obviously done using the OneCoin, and any one delegated to a validator automatically votes the same way it does. This means that if you're delegating your one to a validator who's not voting the way you want, you'll have to redelegate your one to another validator who shares your opinion on the proposal. Now, to my understanding, this validator voting only applies to any proposed changes to the Harmony mainnet itself. Anyone can vote on proposals in dApp DAOs. Now, to kickstart all these DAOs, the Harmony Foundation will be dividing $10 million worth of one between all their treasuries. All of these allocated coins come with lengthy vesting schedules. The first DAO to launch was the Validator DAO in early May. The Validator DAO's treasury will get 4 million OneCoins over an 8-month period to spend as the voters see fit. The Validator DAO consists of 5 community-elected validators, which will collectively decide on things such as staking minimums and lockup periods. The second DAO to launch was the Community DAO in early June. Now, it's not entirely clear how much one the Harmony Foundation has allocated to its treasury, but this is the DAO that receives OneCoins from the crazy.one subdomain NFT portal I mentioned a few moments ago. As with the Validator DAO, the Community DAO consists of 5 community-elected members whose goals are to, quote, represent the Harmony community and expand and strengthen that community. The way I see it, the Community DAO is the unofficial marketing team for Harmony's ecosystem, and it seems like they're doing a good job, given how much traction Harmony has been getting in the news and on social media. This is reflected in the price of one as well. Although Harmony's OneCoin has taken a bit of a beating in the recent bear phase, one seems to pump almost every time we see a bit of positive price relief. A strong uptrend also remains when you zoom out. As mentioned by Cointelegraph in May, one was one of the 3 altcoins that held up quite well during the crash, and its resiliency continues to this day. This is in stark contrast to most altcoins, which have had a hard time recouping their losses and are showing next to no signs of life on their social media metrics. In addition to a strong community base, I attribute one's resiliency to its above-average tokenomics. For starters, most of one's initial supply of 12.6 billion is currently in circulation, and more than 40% of this supply is being staked, according to stakingrewards.com. Although one is inflationary, this inflation rate is fixed at 441 million won per year, which works out to about 3% per year. This is a much lower inflation rate than most other inflationary cryptocurrencies. And not only that, but one's inflation can be completely eliminated if there are enough transactions happening on the Harmony blockchain because of the fee burns I mentioned earlier. Now that said, one will never be deflationary. This is because the fee burns only offset any newly issued one and not any one from the existing supply once it's been minted. Any OneCoins used for fees that aren't burned go to stakers. Now this is a clever way of ensuring robust staking rewards during periods of low transaction volume via inflation and during periods of high transaction volume via fee rewards. The only real downside to one's tokenomics is that it's not entirely clear how one's supply is distributed. This is because the Harmony Explorer does not feature a rich list like most other blockchain explorers. Also, one's supply is still vesting as it's a newer cryptocurrency. This vesting is set to continue until the end of this year, at which point it's just the inflation that will be increasing its supply. Most of one's vesting happened over the last year, which could have suppressed its price action during that time. Now, even if this was the case, one has still managed to pump around 25x since the start of the year. Now, if you want to learn more about why this tokenomic stuff is so important, be sure to watch my video about it using the link up there in the top right. When it comes to where one is headed, this ultimately depends on what Harmony has in store going forward. Harmony founder Stephen Say detailed the Harmony roadmap for 2021 in mid-January. As you can see, the theme was, quote, cross-chain finance. Almost every mission he mentioned in that Medium article has been accomplished already, with a few exceptions. The most important missing milestone is probably the Harmony Bitcoin bridge, which has seemingly fallen by the wayside. Stephen provided a sort of roadmap update in early May this year. In addition to flexing Harmony's adoption metrics, he detailed some pretty ambitious products Harmony is hoping to roll out. The first is a non-custodial wallet that can be accessed and recovered using anything from an email to Google's Authenticator app. This means that users wouldn't have to go through the trouble of writing down a lengthy seed phrase or even creating a username or password. The second product Harmony wants to produce is a DeFi protocol that provides an annual return of 20% per year on stable assets. This sounds an awful lot like Terra's Anchor protocol, which you'll hopefully recall me saying will be launching natively on Harmony. The third product Stephen is hoping to see is a non-custodial cross-chain bridge with token transfer times of under 3 minutes. That's a pretty big ask, and I believe the only cryptocurrency protocol that has achieved this is Thorchain, specifically Thorchain's cross-chain DEX. More on that in the description if you're interested, by the way. Now, Stephen noted that they wanted to create a bridge like this for Bitcoin, so that might be why we haven't seen any updates about it. The funny thing is that Stephen didn't really explain how Harmony hopes to deliver on these promises. He finished the presentation with a comment to the effect of, "If someone figures it out, let me know." Now, I take this as a sign that Harmony is struggling to recruit the manpower required to make this magic happen, which is a problem that almost every single cryptocurrency project is currently facing. There do seem to be a few other problems lurking under Harmony's hood as well, though, and one of them requires me to correct the record. Back in March, I mentioned that Harmony had 1,000 validators, with 250 validators on each of the 4 shards at any given time. Now, at the time, I was under the impression that 640 of these validators were run by the community, with the remainder being run by the Harmony Foundation. This was based on information I found on Masari, who I assume got their information from a video posted by Harmony here on YouTube about their OneCoin burn, which I also watched. Now, according to Harmony's staking dashboard, there are just 109 active validator nodes. The Harmony Foundation is not on this list, which makes me wonder how many validators they're running behind the scenes. After all, a blockchain with 4 shards would not be secure with just 109 validators, but perhaps what's being shown here is just a single shard. Now, in any case, the inconsistencies are a bit concerning. Other problems Harmony have are a bit more relevant to price, and they relate to the project's sustainability and growth. In another recent interview, Harmony founder Stephen Say wasn't able to give the interviewer a clear answer about how the project plans on keeping and attracting users and investors. He also drew a blank on what Harmony is doing to forge partnerships in the United States. Now, to be fair, Harmony has had a keep your head down and work approach until recently, so Stephen probably isn't thinking that far ahead yet. However, he mentioned one thing that makes me think Harmony is up to something, and that's the project's shift in focus from cross-chain finance to, quote, decentralization at scale. For those who watched my first video about Harmony, you might recall that Coinbase was looking at potentially listing Harmony's OneCoin last summer. My suspicion is that they shied away from this because of Harmony's lack of decentralization, which again was probably not entirely clear at the time because of all the conflicting information about validators. This is important because decentralization is the unofficial means by which regulators in the United States determine a cryptocurrency to be a commodity, like gold, or a security, like a company stock. Cryptocurrency exchanges are not licensed to trade securities, and this is mainly because securities are subject to strict regulations. These are created and enforced by the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. Interestingly, the SEC determined that although Ethereum was a security when it held its ICO, today it is decentralized enough to fall into the same bucket as Bitcoin, which is of course not a security. Realizing this, I think it's quite clear that the goal of Harmony's decentralization push is to get the same regulatory nod so that the OneCoin can be listed on American cryptocurrency exchanges. Depending on how quickly Harmony can get these DAOs up and running, we could potentially see one list on Coinbase by the end of the year, possibly even by the end of this summer. This would of course create a domino effect for other popular US exchanges like Kraken, which would follow Coinbase's lead. The price impact on one would be immeasurable. I, for one, have got my fingers crossed. Now, folks, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Harmony and One? Let me know in the comments section down below. Before you go, Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell to make sure you keep up with the crypto flow. If you want to see what I get up to behind the scenes, you can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for banter, outtakes, and dank memes. If you're tired of getting wrecked, just join my free Telegram channel, subscribe to my weekly newsletter, and you'll be all set. Both come packed with the knowledge you need to conquer the crypto market in the short term and the long term, respectively. If you want to support the channel, you can do that while looking like a champ by picking up a tee or hoodie from the Coin Bureau merch store. Unlike that cheap crap, this shit is high quality. You can find your way to all these resources by using the links in the video description. That is a wrap for today, ladies and gents. Hats off to you if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching and keep stacking those sats.